Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Mr. Hino with Mr. Hino's LEGO Robotics. Today's video, a lot of you have been asking about my curriculum. What do you do, Mr. Hino? How does your year look? Even if it's that long. And my answer could be, it could have a wide variety of answers. I could be super general and say, if you just watch my YouTube videos, you'll be able to kind of see my curriculum. The only problem with that, though, is it would be hard for you to connect the dots and go, okay, is he doing this before this one, this after? So today I'm going to get pretty specific. I don't know necessarily how specific you need me to be, but I'm going to break it up into 4 categories and kind of then subcategorize those things, and hopefully I touch all the bases. We'll see. So if you want to see my curriculum, stay with me. And after watching this video, if you like what you see, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right there. Come on, I know you can do it. Okay, so what I'm going to try to do is nail everything down for you, kind of give you a good picture. Even though you might have watched every single of my videos, you can now see maybe the sequence that I do everything, and maybe where sequencing doesn't necessarily matter. So I'm going to break it up into 4 categories. So here we go. My first category is going to be projects. I'm going to show you in a second basically the EV3 cover to the kit, and then show you the projects that we're going to do. And that will also include projects that are not necessarily LEGO education projects, but just projects that I'm like, hey, that's cool. I should have my students be able to see this, as opposed to just getting stuck into, the LEGO projects. So I'm going to show you all the projects we do, and then you can pick and choose which ones you want to do. The next category is going to be class competitions. These are super fun because I give my students super amounts of leeway to be creative within the class set boundaries. And then some students just don't want to follow page by page all the time, and I understand that. So what these class competitions do is they give the students a chance to be creative. You can see their wheels turning, and if they're thinking outside the box. And it allows them to also have fun where they can go, hey, look at all these different creations that our class has done. And it kind of brings the class together. And they can also utilize the things they've learned with their sensors, with their maneuvers. So it's awesome. The third category is going to be board challenges. And those of you that do FLL, First LEGO League, will know what I mean by board challenges. So I have, the old Trash Trek, and I have the Hydrodynamics. I have the LEGO Education Space Challenge, which I'll show you in a second. So those are neat because it allows students to take what they've learned, put it into missions where the students can go, this is kind of neat. Now, those of you that do First LEGO League, I don't put a time limit on them. I kind of let them go from mission to mission, just exploring what they can problem solve, their sensors if they choose to use that, just so that it can also be a creative outlet for them on that way. And then my last category would be class projects that are not projects where they're, building thing page for page, but they're doing projects to kind of show their knowledge. Now, EV3 is real big on their sensors. So what I do is I hit up the sensors really good as far as what their capabilities are. And then we go through projects where it allows them to show their knowledge and basically their mastery of knowing how that sensor can help their robot maneuver or do various tasks. So for instance might be when we do our color sensor maze. That would be a project where they're using their color sensor, but it's, outside of the LEGO education area here. Just kind of something I created. So without further ado, I'm going to take you through all 4 and basically get a little bit more specific and show you examples of each one. So let's get going. Okay, so I have the LEGO Mindstorms EV3 kit cover. So when we're talking about projects here, this is what I mean by projects. So these are the ones that we will do regardless. I'm not going to stray from this we're going to do each of these projects. So right now, those of you that are watching my videos, we're on the educator robot. So this is taking us through the booklet. They're going to do their maneuver test with this. After that, I'm not going to get into board challenges yet, but their skill and mastery from their sensors and maneuvers are then going to take them to the board challenge, and this is the space challenge here. But we will definitely do the robot arm. There is the color sorter, the puppy, and the gyro boy. Now, depending on how fast or slow your students build and program, this is hard to put a parameter as far as how long this takes. You know, on average, students should take a week to possibly 2 weeks for the gyro boy, a week for the puppy, maybe a week and a half for the robot arm, and probably 2 weeks for the color sorter here. So if you want to put that all together, that's, you know, that's a good month and a half right there if you just put all of these projects together. And again, what we're talking about here is just the page by page instructions. So this is why I definitely like to mix up the projects with class competitions and board challenges, because, you know, students get very, you know, the students I'm talking about, where they're going to get like, I don't want to follow pages anymore. So that's why we break these projects up with the other things. So let's go ahead and take a look at some video of those projects in action. Picks it up, and it drops it there at 6 o'clock. So let's go ahead and move to the board challenges. The good thing about the board challenges is that it allows the students to use what they've learned, either on the brick or on a computer program, and use of sensors if they want to do that. And it allows them now to try to complete a task or mission, using everything that they've learned, and now also getting some problem solving skills. The only drawback would be that some of these mats and models can be expensive. So if you're just starting off, maybe you kind of make it a goal maybe to get, one every year or one every 2 years, until you have a collection of these where you can feel comfortable. And, my biggest task is to keep all the models together, because, on wear and tear, these things come apart, and then, if one thing comes off, then the whole model doesn't work. So keeping them maintained is a huge job. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the board challenges that I do in my class. Okay, so now let's move on to the class competitions. And again, these are super fun because it allows students to just get out of the book, page by page instructions, and it gives them more of that creative energy output here, where they can now feel like, they can own some of the decisions that, the team makes. So I'm not going to, describe everything for you. I'm just going to kind of let the video speak for itself. But here are some of the classroom competitions that we have in our class. And then lastly, we're going to go to some of the class projects that we do, not necessarily like the projects like, the robot arm, but projects now where we're looking at sensors and being able to do a task or a mission using that sensor. So this can be like the black line following, this can be like, the color sensor maze, this can be a touch sensor thing. So let me go ahead and show you some of the videos that we did or we took doing some of these projects. that was a boatload of information. Definitely, I always tell my students, you know what? I am not going to try to give you too much information because you can get information overload. So, hopefully you can maybe just take little bites of this video and kind of go, okay, well, we'll do this for a few weeks, take this for a month, and then just kind of chunk it up so it's not overwhelming. But hopefully it was informative and helpful. And what's really neat is the more and more you teach robotics, the more and more you kind of, it's kind of going through your garage and going, you know what, I don't need this anymore. And hey, I always use this. Let me organize and figure out what is going to stay, what goes, what do I modify. So it's just one of those neat journeys that we take, that you can take a thing and go, oh, wow, that really went awesome. Let me see if I can add this in next year, or take this out and make it a little bit more interesting or fun. So it's a process, and I'm still learning, each year what is good to insert, what's good to take out. And then, not that we ever get it perfect. It's just you kind of have to adjust to the students you get. You have to adjust to, hey, I did this for 2 years. Let me move to something else. So I'm glad that I'm with you on this journey. If you have any more questions, hit me up in the comments section. I am Mr. Hino. Thank you for watching. I'm out.